Emily's boots crunched on the gravel road as she approached the sprawling Montana ranch. The late afternoon sun cast a golden glow over the rolling hills, painting the fields in hues of amber and green. She had left the city behind, trading the constant hum of traffic for the quiet rhythm of farm life. Her chest tightened with nervous anticipation, and her hands fidgeted with the strap of her bag. Today was the day she had promised herself she would be completely honest with Jack, the rugged rancher who had invited her to stay. When she finally saw him, he was leaning against the old wooden fence, his broad shoulders relaxed, and a faint smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. His blue eyes, clear as a summer sky, followed her approach with an easy confidence that made Emily's stomach twist. She had always been forthright, and now was no exception. Taking a deep breath, she met his gaze. "Jack," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "there's something I need you to know about me. It's important." She paused, glancing down at her worn boots. "I can't have children. I never will." The words hung in the air between them, heavy and final. Emily braced herself for a reaction: shock, disappointment, perhaps even pity. But Jack's face didn't change. Instead, a warm, knowing smile spread across his features. "Good," he said, his tone steady and calm. "I've got enough kids for both." Emily blinked, her heart skipping a beat. She stared at him, unsure if he was joking. But the honesty in his eyes was undeniable, and slowly, a nervous laugh escaped her lips. Jack's smile widened, and he stepped closer, offering her a hand. "Come on," he said. "Let me show you around. You'll see, it's not what you don't have that matters, it's what you do have that counts." As they walked through the ranch, Emily's anxiety began to ease. The fields stretched endlessly in every direction, dotted with grazing horses and cows. The scent of hay and earth filled her senses, grounding her in a way the city never could. Jack introduced her to his children, a lively bunch who were busy chasing each other through the barnyard. Their laughter rang out like music, unfiltered and pure, and Emily felt a strange tug at her heart, a mixture of longing and hope. By the time they reached the farmhouse, Emily realized that she had been carrying a weight she hadn't fully acknowledged. She had feared judgment, rejection, and the loneliness that came with being different. But here, on this sunlit ranch, with Jack's steady presence and the joyful chaos of his family surrounding her, she felt something new. A glimmer of belonging, a sense that maybe, just maybe, she had found a place where she could be herself, and still be loved. Sitting on the porch later, Emily watched the children play in the golden fields. Jack leaned beside her, silent but attentive. She felt a warmth she hadn't known in years. Maybe motherhood wasn't the only way to nurture a family. Maybe love, laughter, and honesty were enough, and here, she finally believed they could be. The next morning, Emily woke to the soft sounds of the ranch coming alive. Chickens clucked near the coop, horses whinnied in the distance, and the scent of fresh hay mingled with the crisp Montana air. Jack was already outside, coaxing a stubborn cow into the barn for milking. Seeing him move with ease and confidence made Emily feel both nervous and excited. This was a world so different from the concrete streets and crowded apartments she had left behind. Jack's children tumbled out of the farmhouse in a flurry of energy, their laughter echoing across the fields. A little boy with sun-kissed hair raced past, followed by his younger sister, squealing with delight. Emily hesitated at first, unsure how to fit into this lively scene. But Jack noticed her hesitation and offered a reassuring smile. "You don't have to be a mother to be part of this family," he said softly, as he handed her a bundle of feed for the chickens. "You just have to be you." Emily felt her chest warm at his words. Slowly, she began to join the children in their morning routine. She showed them how to brush the horses' coats and laughed when one of the foals nuzzled her shoulder. She helped gather eggs from the coop, careful not to drop a single one, and found herself relaxing in the rhythm of the chores. With every task, the fear and tension she had carried for years began to loosen, replaced by a sense of belonging she hadn't thought possible. By midday, the ranch was alive with motion. Jack's children ran errands for him, learning to carry tools, fill water troughs, and care for the animals. Emily followed along, teaching them how to gently handle the younger lambs without scaring them. The children's curiosity was infectious, and she laughed more than she had in years, sharing stories of her life in the city and her small misadventures. During a break, Jack leaned against the fence beside her, watching with a quiet satisfaction. "See," he said, nodding toward the kids. "They're happy, and so are you. This is what family feels like. It's messy, loud, and sometimes exhausting, but it's full of love." Emily's eyes softened as she watched the children chasing a runaway goat, shouting and giggling in pure delight. She realized she had been holding herself back for so long, believing that her inability to have children would prevent her from experiencing joy and connection. But here, surrounded by Jack's family, she understood that motherhood wasn't the only way to nurture. She could give love, guidance, and companionship, and it would be just as meaningful. As the sun began to dip behind the hills, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Emily felt a profound sense of peace. She had found a place where she could belong, where her heart could expand without fear of judgment. And at the center of it all was Jack, steady and kind, showing her that family was not defined by biology, but by love, trust, and shared laughter. Evenings on the ranch were a different kind of magic. The sun melted behind the distant hills, turning the sky into a canvas of pinks and purples. Emily sat on the porch steps, watching Jack's children chase fireflies across the yard, their laughter echoing through the warm summer air. She had spent the day helping with chores, teaching the kids to gather hay, and showing them how to feed the younger animals without startling them. Yet, it was these quiet moments, under the soft glow of the sunset, that truly made her feel connected. The children ran back to her, carrying small treasures they had found, bright feathers, smooth stones, and tiny wildflowers. "Look, Emily," the youngest exclaimed, "this is for you." She accepted their gifts with a smile, her heart swelling with a mix of surprise and gratitude. In the city, no one had ever given her such innocent, wholehearted affection. Here, she realized, she didn't need to be a mother to feel the warmth of family. Jack joined her on the porch, carrying a mug of steaming cocoa for each of them. The smell of chocolate and the soft clink of mugs on wood brought a comforting familiarity. The children sat cross-legged at her feet, eager for stories about her life in the city. She laughed as she recounted small adventures, her first disastrous attempt at baking, a runaway dog incident, and her many encounters with the bustling streets. Each tale was met with wide-eyed wonder and bursts of laughter. One of the older children leaned against her shoulder. "I wish you could stay forever," she whispered. Emily felt a lump in her throat, realizing that these kids had already become a part of her heart. Jack's hand rested gently on hers, a quiet reassurance that she was exactly where she belonged. "See," he murmured, "you already belong here." As the evening deepened, the fire crackled and the stars began to peek out in the velvet sky. Emily gazed at the children's faces, illuminated by the flickering flames, and felt a warmth she hadn't known in years. The laughter, trust, and curiosity of these young souls reminded her that family wasn't solely about biology. It was about connection, care, and shared moments of joy. She realized, with surprising clarity, that her life had been missing this kind of love, not absent because she couldn't have children, but because she had been afraid to open her heart. Here, she was needed, valued, and cherished for who she was. In Jack's steady presence, she found safety and patience, and in the children's exuberance, she discovered a renewed sense of purpose. That night, as she tucked herself into the small guest room in the farmhouse, Emily felt a profound contentment. She thought of Jack's words, "You don't have to be a mother to be part of this family." Tonight, she understood their meaning fully. She wasn't incomplete. She wasn't missing anything. She had found her place, surrounded by love, laughter, and a family that welcomed her entirely, exactly as she was. Spring arrived on the Montana ranch with a gentle burst of life. The fields that had once been brown and dormant were now carpeted with green, dotted with wildflowers swaying in the breeze. Horses grazed peacefully, and the barnyard echoed with the delighted chatter of children running barefoot through the dew-kissed grass. Emily stood on the porch, taking in the beauty of the morning, and realized how much she had grown since that first nervous day she arrived. She no longer felt like an outsider. This ranch, this family, had become her home. Jack appeared beside her, carrying a basket of eggs, his blue eyes warm as he watched her. "Ready for breakfast?" he asked, a teasing smile on his lips. Emily laughed, reaching for the basket to help. The children tumbled out from the farmhouse, racing each other to see who could crack the eggs first. Their laughter was infectious, filling the air with an energy Emily had never experienced in the city. She joined in without hesitation, her hands guiding the smaller ones, her heart swelling with joy. After breakfast, the family set out for a long ride through the rolling hills. Emily led the youngest horse, its mane flowing in the wind, while Jack and the older children rode ahead. She marveled at the freedom of the open land, the endless sky stretching above, and the quiet satisfaction of working alongside people who accepted her completely. With every laugh and every shared story, she felt herself more deeply connected to this lively, imperfect, yet loving family. Later that afternoon, as the sun dipped low and painted the world in gold, Emily and Jack sat on a hill overlooking the ranch. The children ran below, their shadows long and playful. Jack slipped an arm around her shoulders, and she rested her head against him. "I guess we've got enough for both," he said softly, repeating the words that had first startled her but now filled her with happiness. Emily smiled, feeling tears prick at the corners of her eyes, not of sadness but of gratitude. She had feared that her inability to have children would leave a void in her life, a sense of incompleteness. Yet here, in the laughter of Jack's children, in the warmth of the family's embrace, she discovered that life could be full, vibrant, and meaningful without following the path she had once imagined. She was needed, loved, and accepted just as she was. As evening fell, the family gathered around the fire pit. The smell of roasting marshmallows mingled with the fresh scent of the land. Emily watched the children playfully arguing over who would get the last marshmallow, and Jack caught her eye with a smile that spoke volumes. This was her life now, messy, joyful, and overflowing with love. She had found her home, her purpose, and a family that welcomed her entirely. For the first time in years, Emily felt truly complete. She may not have given birth, but she had discovered a different kind of motherhood, a love that nurtured, guided, and cherished without needing to create life. In Jack, the children, and the endless Montana skies, she had found a life more beautiful than she had ever dared to dream. She was home, and she would never let go.